All right, hello everybody from Jersey Mike's Arena, 75-52, 53. What was the final score? 57. Anyway, big victory for the Scarlet Knights. That's the takeaway. A fun game. If you were coming here, what you were going to get, you were expecting. Dylan Harper was as good as advertised, but Lathan Somerville didn't see that coming. First standing ovation of the season. He was great.
No Ace Bailey, no problem. You got another freshman you can take off the bench, and he'll do the work for him. Great debut for Lathan Somerville, and a bit of a rough game for Emmanuel Ogbole, which is why his emergence was so encouraging. This is at a position we talk ad nauseum about. And yes, it's Wagner. Probably not worth getting ahead of ourselves here, but that's what you want to see out of this game. Everyone came here to see Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey have a great debut. Ace didn't play, obviously, because of a minor injury. Dylan Harper had the most points, we believe, by a freshman in at least 30 years, by a freshman in their debut in at least 30 years, maybe ever. But you got to feel the most encouraged with what Lathan Somerville did, both ends of the floor, rebounding, passing, spinning, finishing. Could not have had a better debut.
Yeah, he was great. Somerville was tremendous. Really, the whole bench gave Rutgers a huge boost. Guys like Zach Martini, Jordan Durkak, a lot of guys contributed in this game. Jermichael Davis even played great defense on what Steve Pikiell said was Wagner's best player, their point guard. And Jermichael Davis held him to, I think, 2 points was what he said. So really there were just contributions top to bottom. Obviously the two freshmen were the headliners, but a lot of things to like about what you saw today.
And I'm glad you mentioned all the other players because I want to talk about Dylan, who was just everything we expected him to be. You know, hits the early three, you think, all right, well, this could be his game. No, he was at the basket, attacked the basket the entire time, had a steal at the three-point line, split two defenders, went up, got fouled. The only thing he didn't do was hit free throws. Hey, welcome to Rutgers. Kidding, your free throws. I kid. But, yeah, overall, though, I mean, just to see him play, that was it. That's, I mean, if he high bar to clear, he hit it.
This is what Dylan Harper did, against Bergen County opponents in high school. Right. And you thought maybe at the college level he can't. He's sprinting down the field. Not down the field. Too much football in my mind. Sprinting down the court after steals, getting to the rim, finishing at a high level, at full speed, at hard angles. Again, stuff he did at Don Bosco against. Again, it's Wagner. It's not Purdue, but as the competition elevates, he's still playing at a really, really high level. Really kind of like what you saw from Dylan Harper. And I think a lot of us talked about how this would be a high-scoring team, a little different from a Steve Pikiell team. 10 minutes and 57 seconds, Wagner went without a field goal, 17 straight misses. Some of that was because it's Wagner, but a lot of encouraging play on the defensive end, too.
I'm going to pick a nit. The one thing you didn't like, the rebounding. They out-rebound by 3. This is the big concern, something we were thinking about going in. Steve Pikiell talked about it a little bit afterward. He said you could have Ace Bailey could be worth 10 or 15 rebounds. I don't know if that's the case. Certainly, he's a big guy. He gets some. Dylan Harper will get some. But overall, this was still an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. You would think that Rutgers would be the more physical team against Wagner playing out of the NEC. But you're right. Wagner played well in the glass. Maybe a lot of missed shots added to some of that rebounding, certainly for sure. But it's something that's going to be brought up time and time again this season. So the Rutgers rebounding, what happens at center, can these bigs play a physical brand of basketball? We're not going to find out for a while. So what Steve Pikiell was saying, they have time to develop and learn, and you're going to see a guy like Lathan Somerville, a true freshman, just get better and better. And I think that's an encouraging thing for sure.
A couple quick notes. Rebounding, I don't really care. It's Wagner. They won by 24 points. Call me when rebounding loses them a game. I'm more concerned about the fact that they still can hit threes and they still can hit free throws. Some of that is because of who is taking the threes, probably going to want a better distribution of threes. And part of it is because Ace Bailey didn't play.
Say, your best three-pointer shooter.
He's not their best three-point shooter. He's maybe their third best three-point shooter. 30% is awful, and they only shot 30% because they made a last-second three. They shot 26% before the last minute of the game. Three-point shooting, still a concern. Again, it's Wagner. Two more things. You mentioned all the guys off the bench. PJ Hayes, really good game, efficient, couple of threes. Him and Martini were the only two guys with multiple three-pointers. I liked his game. Again, quiet but efficient. And Jordan Durkak, numbers weren't great. Most physical guy on the court. He drew 7 fouls. It felt like every time he had the ball, he was getting some guy roughing him up. Some tough finishes around the rim. And, of course, he was the recipient of the Lathan Somerville behind-the-back pass.
Which was incredible,
And just my favorite thing. that you know this is still Rutgers basketball. You ask Steve Pikiell what his favorite play from Lathan Somerville was. Was it the spin, the finish at the rim? Was it the behind the back pass? The most predictable answer was, my favorite part of Lathan Somerville's performance were his 8 rebounds. It's still Rutgers basketball. It's still Steve Pikiell, folks. Don't let that mistake. It's
great. All right, we'll sign off there. St. Peter's up next on Monday night for basketball, but first, before that, little football game too on Saturday. We'll be there to talk about both of them. Thanks for watching.